Good evening, Wargamers, and welcome back to the channel. It's MechRat. It's good to be back. I know I've been away for a little while. I was out of the country. I was sick. Yada, yada, yada. Long story short, I'm back now making content again. Content for the content gods. And what better way to get back into the swing of things than looking at the new Battlescroll. This is not a live reaction. I've obviously seen it before, and I've played a few games with the new Battlescroll, but I thought I'd make a video just going through it really quickly. Talking about my thoughts on all the changes from a competitive player's perspective. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with we'll go through just follow the PDF. I'm lazy. I didn't make a PowerPoint or a slide or anything, so we'll just follow the PDF, and we'll start with Cities of Sigmar. So what I thought needed to change with these guys was hammers up, and then maybe some of the human stuff down, and then pretty much everything else could be left fine. Probably dark shards needed to go up, but I think everything else was fine, so let's see what they changed. Battle Mage down 20, sure, keep going. Free Guild Cav Marshal down, sure. Marshal on Griffin, probably keep going. Ogre Warhulk is interesting because I thought that unit was already quite good, and down 20 it makes it even better. Pontifex down 30 is really good, and Talia down 30 is really good. I think you'll probably start to see both of those a lot more. Rune Lord and Sorceress up makes sense. They're probably both still playable. Maybe the Rune, I think the Rune Lord you've kind of forced to take them if you want hammers, but the Sorceress you maybe can do without her now. I don't know, we'll see. Dark Riders up 20 feels a little harsh. Dark Shards up 10 is fair. Drakespawn Knights I don't think needed to go up. Executioners definitely didn't need to go up in my opinion, because when you compare them pound for pound with Hammers now, with Executioners being only 10 points cheaper, Hammers are like 3 times as durable, and they do about the same damage into a 3-up save, so Executioners you probably don't see them much anymore. And then Cavaliers down is fine. Probably see more human stuff now, like I said. But yeah, I don't think Drakespawn Knights needed to go up, because now with them being 40 points more than Cavaliers, that's kind of tough actually. I don't know if you'll see Drakespawn Knights much anymore. Yeah, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more, just a little bit more points changes here and there, but I think overall this means that you'll see more human stuff, less dark elf stuff for sure. You'll probably still see hammerers. But yeah, overall pretty good changes for cities. Oh, and yeah, Wilder Corpse down. Probably didn't need it, honestly. They're already good, I think. Yeah, anyway, cities pretty mixed bag. I think they were a little overly harsh on the dark elves. I have a friend who had an all dark elf list whose list went up like 190 points or something like that, and the list wasn't even like the most competitive list cities can bring, so a little overly harsh I think on the dark elf side. Daughters of Cain, very minor changes, just some regiment changes to the Bloodrack Shrine and the Slaughter Queen on Cauldron. I think that's pretty good, since the Slaughter Queen can take like the Canary stuff now. That's pretty good. I think you'll see more Canary lists. I was already starting to see some. I have a friend who was running like 20 or so in a list. Obviously they hit when you juice them with Mind Razor. Deep Strike is nice, and they're mobile, so minimal dock changes, but I think probably good. This, you know, anytime you're getting as an army, a general rule of thumb for this video, anytime we're seeing an army that's getting better regiment options or more flexibility, it's just a nice buff, because right now list building is not very fun. So anything that they do to make it less restrictive is just going to automatically make it a bit more fun. So sure, good changes, Daughters of Cain. Fire Slayers feels again a little harsh to me. Hearthguards up, Berserkers with shields up, and then Flame Seekers up. I think Flame Seekers up is fair, but the other two, I don't know about that. Grimwrath up, sure. I don't know about that one, Chief. Flamekeeper down is fine. The worst Magma Droth got cheaper. but he's still, from what I've heard, he's still not very good. The Exile cheaper, sure, whatever. I think once again maybe a little harsh. I don't think Fire Slayers was dominating. I don't think they were absolutely destroying people. I think they got nerfed more than some other armies further down this list that should have gotten nerfed more. So 4 out of 10. Do better, GW. Yeah, I think Fire Slayer is overly harsh here. I don't think the points buffs that they got with the Rune Sun going down and the Grim Hold going down, I don't think that unlocks any new tech. I think they maybe just lose a unit now in the most competitive lists with Flame Seekers going up. I think people are running like 5 units of Flame Seekers, so up 50 points there with Hearth Guards going up. Maybe a list maybe gone up 70 or 100 points. So you lose a unit, which sucks. So probably overly harsh here for Fire Slayers. Ideneth, just a few tiny changes here. Leviathan, like whatever, 10 points. You were bringing 1. You're probably still bringing 1. Alopex down 20 is actually interesting. You probably play Alopexes now. I heard people say that you maybe run 2 of them now. So that's pretty good. I haven't really heard anything about Volturnos, whether 20 points fixes him or not. My guess is it probably doesn't. I think most people still just run Eidolons, Turtle, Eels, and Sharks now. But yeah, whatever. Ideneth, sorry, but I don't care. KO is another sorry, but I don't care. Admiral down 20, whatever. Brock probably could go up even more. Brock's really good. KO as an army is like not super good, but Brock is good. Gunhauler down 20 is cute, I want to say. I don't see people play the Gunhauler, so maybe this will make it get played more. Once again, I think we just need to see KO's Battle Tome come out. I think points is like, unless they start dropping the troops a whole bunch, I don't think points like quote unquote fixes the army or whatever. They're fine. They're whatever. Luminath. This is the first army, I think, where they actually get some decent changes here. The Spirit of the Mountain down 20 is nice. I've seen people talk about running 2 or 3 of them. Whether that's competitively viable or not, I don't know. Remains to be seen. My opinion, sure, it's good. Severus down 20 is fair. With the huge Venari nerf that we got a few months back, or not Venari, the huge Huracan nerf that we got a few months back, I think the Huracan stuff ended up being quite overcosted. So yeah, we're seeing that reflected a little bit with Severus and the Wind Chargers going down. I feel like the Wind Chargers would probably go down even more, and they'd still be fine. They do really quite pitiful damage for how expensive they are right now, with, you know, their shooting just being 3s and 4s. So yeah, I think the green here is deserved for Lumineth, and Avalanor taking any Venari, any Alareth is nice, especially him taking any Venari. Very, very nice. Lyrior, I'm not sure. I think he might be a meme. And then Severith being any Venari, any Huracan is also really nice. Just both of these guys, like Avalanor being able to take Sentinels and Severith being able to take Sentinels, that's both really pretty huge, I think. Good changes for Lumineth. I don't know if that'll bump them up a tier or bump them up their win rate, maybe a little bit. We'll have to see what their new lists are like. Seraphon, Croak up, yes, probably keep going. Old Blood on Carnosaur down, sure. Scarvet on Agrodon down, sure. Stegodon down 40, keep going. I don't know, maybe you play the Stegodon now. I'll have to talk to my Seraphon playing friends. But was hoping to see a little bit more with a model range this deep. Only, you know, having 4 models have points changes seems a little sad, but, you know, whatever. We're getting the GHB in a few months anyway, so Seraphon players, I'm sure you guys are still happy. Your guys' Seraphon was already close to being one of the best armies in the game. I would say they're probably top 5, or if not top 5, then like top 8 armies in the game right now. And they definitely didn't get nerfed here. Like Croak going up 20 I don't think there's many breakpoints there. I don't think there's any lists that suddenly don't become playable or don't become viable anymore. So I think Seraphon's doing just fine here. Yeah, I think Seraphon players are happy. Still a great army, still very strong. Probably one of the big winners, quote unquote, from this battle scroll, just because they didn't get nerfed. And you know, that's a win. Moving on to Stormcast. I think Stormcast is another one of the biggest winners from this battle scroll, actually, because they got some generous points decreases. The biggest one being on Sequitors, which went down 50. They're now 120 for 5. They're very, very spammable now. I think Sequitor spam is something we will see. Raptors with long strikes didn't go up. Paladors didn't go up. And Grand Slammers went down. So Stormcast got a lot of very nice points changes. They did get one nerf that we'll see in a little bit, which is the Vanguard Chamber is now once, the Vanguard Chamber ability is now once per army, or once per turn army. But you know, you could still rocket that one unit of Paladors 20 inches and then charge. You can still retreat and then shoot with your long strikes if you want. Like, you could still do it, it's just you can't spam it. So I think that nerf hurts their scramble late game a little bit, but in terms of points, I would almost argue that Stormcast got better. Like, they have a lot more options now, so I would say they're one of the bigger winners from this. I'm not gonna talk about like, oh my god, Stardrake can take all the stuff. Like, sure, if you like Stardrake, good for you. I don't know Stormcast enough to be able to give you opinions on most of this stuff. All I know, basically, is that Grand Slammers are good, and them going down 20 is good. And the Questor going down 20 is good. Sequitor's going down 50 is real good. So for the next 2 months until they go to Legends, we're gonna have to deal with Sequitor spam. Yeah. Stormcast, probably one of the winners from the battle scroll, in my opinion. Sylvaneth, probably another winner. I don't know what, I don't play Sylvaneth, so I don't know what points, like, changes people were begging for. I know that the army wasn't bad. I know they weren't like top tier or anything, but anytime you see regiment options, like I said, regiment options getting buffed, good. We love to see it. So sure, good job Sylvaneth, good job GW. Beast of Chaos. Bestigor's up, we love to see it. Great Bray Shaman up, we love to see it. Ungor's up, sure. Droger's down, we love to see it. Dragon Ogres are way cooler than Bestigors. For the next 2 months that they'll exist. So what does this do to the 80 Bestigor or 60 Bestigor plus other stuff teams list that was super strong, or singles list, which they're both, it's strong in both. You probably take one less unit, or maybe you substitute some Dragon Ogres for Bestigors now. But that list is definitely not dead by any stretch of the imagination. It's still quite strong, quite a good threat. I think you still probably see 60 Bestigors, or maybe you see 40 Bestigors and Dragon Ogres now. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that core of 60 Bestigors plus Great Bray Shaman still gonna be quite, you know, quite good. This was not quite a big enough nerf to, in my opinion, to Beast of Chaos. But we do love to see internal balance, so Dragon Ogres going down 20 is great. Blades of Corn. This Thirster went up, this other Thirster went down, but they both can include all Blades of Corn, which is cool, and Slaughter Seeker Sub-Hero, which is cool. Blood Warriors up, Skull Reapers up, Wrathmongers up, so all the mortals went up. Blood Crushers down is nice. I wonder if they'll see play now. So the big Corn list that was really strong with 35 Wrathmongers and 40 Blood Warriors and 2 heroes. It's now just 30 Wrathmongers and 40 Blood Warriors and 2 heroes. And guess what? It's still really good. Like, this didn't... Corn minorly nerfed, in my opinion. Very minor nerf. I think Corn is going to still... That list is still extremely strong. I think Corn is still a good army. Tzeentch. Nothing really notable here. 10 points here, 10 points there. Screamers down a few. Enlightened. I saw people talking about maybe running Enlightened now. I don't buy it personally. I think they need to go down a little bit more, or they need a little bit of a different war scroll. But yeah, I think Tzeentch still does the same thing that they used to just fine. Yeah, not much to say on Tzeentch. Slanesh. Seekers going up 10, Shalaxi going down 10, so that list stays the same. Sigvald, or Shalaxi going down 30. Sigvald going down 20 is nice. Blutos being any plus a sub-hero is cool. Sigvald being any plus a hero is cool. It's kind of hilarious to me that he can include a hero, but he can also join a regiment as a hero. I don't know, a little bit strange to me, but once again, nothing crazy notable. I don't think there's enough here that was changed for there to be any great big break points. Maybe you just run Shalaxi now a little bit more because she's competes with the Keeper of Secrets more directly at 460 rather than 490. So yeah, not much to say about Hedonites of Slanesh as well. Pretty minor changes here, and you'll see this with a lot of armies in the Battlescroll. I mean, obviously we're already maybe a third of the way through it. This video is probably not going to be very long. This was a pretty minor Battlescroll. I feel like they're kind of just addressing a few things and then hiding us over until the GHB, which I'll probably do a video on the GHB leaks that we got, or not leaks, the bit that they showed off on the website, because it looks interesting. Nurgle. I would say Nurgle is another one of the quote-unquote big winners out of the Battlescroll. Lord of Afflictions down is cool. Lord of Plagues down is cool. Lord of Blights was the one you take, so him going up 10 is like whatever. Radagast down 30 just makes the Guo. You just take him over the Guo now. With the Guo being 480 and Radagast being 430. Radagast just with the +1 to cast and with his good spell, you play him now. Beast and Nurgle down is cool. Puscoils down 30 is nice. I don't think you spam them. You might see them now. Personally, I still think they're too expensive. Like, when you compare them pound for pound with Blight Kings, they're still 30 points more. Blight Kings have a better save and more wounds, technically. It's 16 wounds on a 4-up versus 15 wounds on a 3-up, which is much more durable. Also, you might think that the Blight Lord's moving 8 inches with flying versus the Blight King's moving 4. If you check a little bit though, you have a trait to give +1 to move to the Blight Kings, and then you have Field Sergeant to give +2 move, so the Blight Kings can actually move 7, and then the Blight Lords move 8, and the Kings are 30 points cheaper. So in reality, I still don't think there's that much of a reason to run Blight Lords. Especially the 4-up save really hurts. So I think Kings are still better. My buddy Ray might disagree with me. He would know better. But shout out to Skaven Plays. But yeah, I think Blight Lords, they're definitely not spammable. Maybe they see play now, but I mean, you like to see lots of green for Nurgle because they're one of the lower win rate armies in the game right now. Moving on to my army, Skaven. Kritok taking any Skaven is huge for us. We love that. Master Bolter down 10 is whatever. Engineer down 10 is whatever. The main things you're here for are this: Hell Pit down 20, and then the 3 Vermin Lords being able to take any Skaven. Previously, the biggest problem with the Vermin Lord Deceiver, in my opinion, that kept him from being the best of the best in our book, was that he had just terrible regiment options, because the Eshin troops, there weren't many of them, and they were all pretty much bad, except for the Deathmaster. I mean, Night Runners are fine, but you're probably not running more than 1 or 2 units of them. So now the fact that the Vermin Lord Deceiver can bring any Skaven, ooh, baby, that's good. That's what we like to see. I think Skaven was one of the big winners from this Battlescroll for sure, just because regiment options were pretty toxic for us before. Like, just because all of our Vermin Lords had really restrictive regiment options, that made it hard to run the Vermin Lords. So the Vermin Lords are a lot more usable now. Hell Pit down 20 makes him playable in regular Skaven, I think. You can play him outside of the AOR now. He was fine at 240 in the AOR, because you could give him a ward and he had the Strike First Rampage. But 220, I think, is pretty playable now for regular Skaven. So you might see him pop up a little bit. I got a few more things. I think Jezzail's down 10 is nice. They were definitely overcosted. Warp Lightning Cannon down to 130 is interesting. I want to play him more. Rat Ogres down 10 is also interesting. I don't know if they see more play or not. But yeah, I think they're probably still a little too unreliable for me, but I'll give them another try. Rattling Warp Blaster, keep going. Thing's terrible. I don't think there is a points value that saves the thing. I mean, obviously, unless it's literally 20 points, then you play a million of them. No, this, like, I don't think this thing has a points value that starts with 100 that is playable. Yeah, Skaven, pretty good here. We love to see regiments, and we love to see some troops going down. So yeah, moving on to Slaves to Darkness. Oh my gosh, look at all this green. I mean, it's just the big models getting a little bit cheaper. Chaos Lords getting a little cheaper and getting better regiments. Demon Prince going down is cool. Myrmidon, whatever. Exalted Hero, whatever. Gaunt going up 20. Be'lakor going up 20. Chosen going up 20. And then Varangard going up 10. So the Pokeball list maybe got 100 points more expensive, maybe 80 points more expensive. I think Pokeball is probably a lot less playable because of the nerf to the rules that they got, which we'll look at later. But regular Slaves to Darkness with Be'lakor, 10 Chosen, 6 Varangard, and some garbage is just as good as it previously was, and is going to continue to be just as good as it previously was. I don't think Slaves to Darkness got nerfed hard enough. I think they got a slap on the wrist, if anything. Like, what I was really hoping to see for Slaves to Darkness was Bellacor's Rampage nerfed, or Chosen and Varangard having their Fight Twice ability be the same, so they couldn't both use it. So it was like a once per battle fight twice for just one of the two units, rather than being able to once per battle fight twice with both of them. I think that would actually nerf Slaves to Darkness, and I think nerfing Bellacor's Rampage would actually nerf Slaves to Darkness, but as long as Bellacor's Rampage is the way it is, and Chosen and Varangard can still double fight, I don't think, unless you make Chosen literally prohibitively expensive by making them like 330 for 5, like, I don't think that actually nerfs Slaves to Darkness. Like, I think all this green is like just whatever, and the nerf isn't enough. The one thing I do want to draw attention to is the Legion of First Prince Blood Crushers being 160, going down 40. Maybe Legion of the First Prince runs them now. I haven't seen a lot of stuff from Legion because it just seems like slightly worse Slaves to Darkness, but this is interesting. I think that's a good change. We'd love to see that. But yeah, as far as the competitive Slaves to Darkness list, there's the Pokeball and then the other one. The other one basically didn't get nerfed in my opinion. Pokeball did get nerfed, and I think Pokeball was the worst of the two competitive Slaves to Darkness lists. I think it was the more NPE. So seeing Pokeball nerfed, sure, we'd love to see that. Moving over to Flesh Eater Courts, they, I think, were actually properly nerfed. Morbag's up 20, Usherin up 20, Battlescroll up, Cardinal up. So the Morbag Knight spam list loses some Morbags. We love to see that. And then yeah, it loses some Morbags, and then they also got a nerf to their summoning or their recursion, which we'll look at later. So yeah, I think Feck was actually properly nerfed enough. I think they're still good, but I don't think they're going to be quite the problem they were. Night Haunt, basically nothing. Few regiment options, cool. Moving on. OBR. Harvester down 30 is cute. I'm not sure if you play it still. I know it got a rules change. I don't remember it. We'll take a look at it in a minute. Archon down 20 is actually nice. I think he actually starts to compete with Catacross now. Catacross 520, Archon 390. It's a pretty big price disparity. So yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think Archon, he competes with Catacross now for sure. Nothing else in OBR like screams amazing change to me. Xantos is whatever, going down. The Soul Reaper and the Bone Shaper, I mean, you played them both anyway. 10 points isn't really, with an army that's this elite and this expensive, 10 points here and 10 points there isn't really going to do anything crazy. So yeah. Gothazar Harvester, cool. We'll see if he gets play now. Archon, like that change. Maybe he sees play now. Soulblight, Radukar down 30, keep going. Vampire Lord, maybe you play him now. Direwolves up 10 feels unnecessary. If they were going to do Direwolves up 10, I want to see them drop like zombies down or drop skeletons down or something. But Direwolves up 10 feels a little bit unnecessary. Bargeists, keep going. No regiment changes for Soulblight. Honestly, I think the reason that we're not seeing many changes here is just because their Battle Tome is coming soon. So we'll just wait for the Battle Tome. Bone Splitters, there's nothing. Let's just keep going. Gits, there's a pretty good amount of stuff here. Love to see Fanatics down 20. Bellwaters could probably keep going. Shooters and Stabbers down 10 each is pretty good. I like it. Snufflers down 30 makes them spammable, which is hilarious. But I think they might be playable now. We'll see. Because before, the problem with Snufflers is what they were so expensive that you just took more troops. And it was more, the math was better than just having a 5-up board for them. But yeah, Snufflers down 30 is interesting. Spore Splatter Fanatics down 10 is also interesting. Having a 90-point unit is always nice. Overall with Gits, I think good changes, yeah. I don't know if this makes them like way more competitively viable. I did play against Gits the other day and they felt pretty strong. You could get a lot of control over the moon now. Like you can have the -1 save. If you bring Scragrot, you can have -1 save if you plan things right from turns 2, 3, and 4, which is like basically the majority of the game. The not -1 save, the -1 incoming rend on the Trogs, which is really, really good. Overall, good changes. Yeah, good changes Gits. Ironjaws, I've heard that this guy, including a Head Stompa and then any Ironjaws, is actually a really good change, and it makes the Tusk Boss super, super viable. So I guess we'll have to see, but nothing else notable here with Ironjaws. Rule Boys, I heard they got some rules changes that were interesting that we'll take a look at, but you know, Nashtooth down 10, the meme lives on. Every update he comes down 10 and then he still doesn't get played because he's terrible. Regiment options, another, we love to see it. Not much with Cruel Boys here. Ogre Maw Tribes, Frostlord up, Huskard up, Stonehorn Beast Riders up, Gluttons down. Gluttons down is nice. Probably maybe 10 points more. I think 220 is fine. 230 is fine too, but 220 would be better, obviously. This feels maybe a little unnecessary. The Huskard's up 20. I don't think the 5 Huskard list was like super oppressive. It still wasn't the most durable list in the world, and its damage is still quite random. I played it the other day and it felt fine. But I think ogres are one of the biggest winners of the Battlescroll. I know I just said a bunch of bad things, but I actually think they're one of the biggest winners of the Battlescroll because of 2 things. Butcher, any Gutbusters, any Noblars. Slaughtermaster, any Gutbusters, any Noblars. The Tyrant is no longer required to play Noblars. And Noblars are insane. 20 models for 110 points. That even does something useful with D3 Mortal Wounds before it dies. They're amazing. And if you look at it, like before to play Noblars, you had to pay the 160 point Tyrant tax. Noblars basically just got 160 points cheaper. So I think just from that fact alone, ogres are one of the biggest winners. Like Gutbusters specifically are one of the biggest winners in this Battlescroll, just because Noblars are very usable now, and they are very good. And Gluttons going down is great. I'm toying around with a couple different ogre lists right now. We'll see what happens, but I think ogres are going to be pretty good. I think they definitely went up a tier. Sad to see Beastclaw get nerfed. I'm just hoping that they get reworked in the Battle Tome so they're not like this. I want to see big durable monsters instead of lots of crappy monsters that die to anything. Yeah, but for the Gutbusters side, big dubs, big ups. Suns is pretty whatever. Broad going up 20 and Kraken Eater going down 20 is cool for internal balance. Yeah, other than that, Suns is chillin', I think. So yeah, we'll get into the Regiments of Renown now. Most of them I'm just gonna kind of breeze through because I don't really care about most of these. I will highlight the ones that I think are good changes. Stumblefoot Gargant going down 40 to 140 is nutty. He was already really good, and now for 140 points, he's insanely good. So I think a lot of armies are gonna pick up Stumblefoot Gargant now. Yeah, he is super good. Squires of the Everchosen is maybe interesting at 280 now. You get 2 fast units that potentially capture like plus 10 each, which is good. The Cridox Claw Pack is maybe interesting now, possibly. The Godmark Descendant possibly interesting now. The Summer King's Entourage, possibly interesting. It was already played in some armies, and with 20 points cheaper, maybe it sees a little bit more. And then Veramord, I cannot read. Veramord's Shamblers at 220 is also potentially interesting. But yeah, I think that's it. I think these two, the Entourage and the Shamblers, the Ascendant, possibly the Claw Pack, and then Stumblefoot Gargant are the main ones that I think are big winners out of this. So I'm gonna skip through all the legend stuff now because I don't care. We'll get to the rules in just a second, and there weren't that many. All right, so 5.2 using abilities. The reaction timing thing, this was just changed to fix the stupid little interaction with Seraphon where you could like fail your spell and then your opponent passes on unbinding, and then you as a reaction later add the d6 to the casting roll, and then you successfully cast the spell, and because they already passed on unbinding, they can't unbind it. That was stupid. This fixes that. 25.0 Guarded Hero. This is a neat change, I think, and now you actually have to get models in range of 12 to shoot the foot heroes instead of just having an edge, like instead of just edge tagging with one of the models in the shooting unit. So it'll help make foot heroes just a bit more durable, because they'll be a little bit harder to shoot from big shooting units. So good change there. Yeah, this was stupid, so I'm glad they deleted it. Moving on. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of core rule updates, just some minor ones. And sorry for the laggy PDF. I didn't want to do it on my Adobe Acrobat because there's no dark mode, and this is so much easier on the eyes. I don't like this obscuring change. So what this means is that units that have like some kind of ability that lets them shoot in combat or shoot like Paladors, for an example, when they charge, they get to shoot. So what this means is that if Paladors charge something that's on obscuring, they can shoot it because they're in combat with it. So when they get to use their ability that says when they charge, they get to shoot again, they can actually shoot at a unit that's sitting on obscuring now. I don't like this change. I think if you're on obscuring, wholly on obscuring, you shouldn't be able to be shot, period. Like even if you're on, like, even if you're in combat. So don't love this change, but we'll deal with it. The cases that this is going to come up are pretty minor. I think it mostly matters with Paladors because there's not a ton of armies that have like good shooting combat right now. Basically only Skaven really comes to mind, having units that are like good at shooting in combat. Anyway, we'll keep on keeping on. Probably have to make some cuts in this video just while we're slowly scrolling through this. This little quality of life change is nice. Miscasting only preventing the wizard from using any more spells. They can still use banish. Nice clarification. Good stuff, GW. Just some more clarifications here with like multi-part manifestations being when they're considered in combat and when they're not considered in combat. Manifestations are still a mess. I feel like they just need to be rewritten as a whole, but whatever, moving on. I think this little one only applies to Slaanesh. I don't know if there's any other armies that have War Masters that can be sub-commanders or sub-heroes or whatever. I think Sigvald is the only one that comes to mind, but I mean, this good that they're clarifying this so people don't get like have weird interactions with having a War Master be a sub-hero or whatever. So keep on going, and now we're getting into army rules updates in just a second here. Prize Beast, they update it to make sure that this ability applies companion. We all knew that it applied to companion, but it's good to state that stuff. Another just clarification. All right, almost to the rules here. So here's the nerf to Feck. The big nerf, in my opinion. Each time an ability returns at least one slain model to a friendly unit that is not in combat after that ability has been resolved. If it's a serfs, you get 1 additional, and if it's a knight on a 4-up, you get 1 additional. So huge nerf to horrors, but a nerf nonetheless to Morbegs, and we take those. So good nerf, good change. Not much other death changes other than the Feck one. But, you know, Feck was really the army that needed to be nerfed, so good on them for actually doing it. Gossamer Archers, just a little change to make sure they can't move they can't end their move in combat with their little move after shooting ability. So that's good. Good change. You know, we're really into the reaction part of this where I'm just saying good change or not good change. When using the Joyous Battle Fury ability, does Dexessa need to have slain any models in a turn in order to add 1 to the attack's characteristic? No. Which in hindsight is obvious, but yes, good clarification. We don't care about legends, so we'll keep going. All right, bunch here. So they just changed this. This used to be a reaction, I believe. Now it's just a passive. Makes more sense that way. The Snarl Fangs used to hit on 3s. Now they hit on 4s. Change the declare step of the King's Adjutant to declare you cannot use this ability and the Bad Moon Clan Layers ability in the same turn. This unit is within 12 of a friendly Bad Moon try and pick a friendly non-reinforced, non-hero, non-monster King's Kits unit that has been destroyed to be the target. Cool, good change, I guess. Within 18 to wholly within 18. Yep, makes sense. Once per battle enemy movement phase. I'm not sure when this is originally, but I'm gonna assume this was a good change. All right, this is the one that I heard a lot about. The Sinister Stare. Add 1 to the Dirty Tricks rules for friendly Cruel Boys units wholly within 12 of this terrain feature. If this terrain feature has a Shouty boss, add 1 to Dirty Trick rules for friendly Cruel Boys units wholly within 18 instead of 12. So I think the thing with this one is when you're making the Dirty Trick rolls, sometimes it's not the Cruel Boys unit making it. I think sometimes it's the enemy unit making it, and I could be wrong on this, so correct me in the comments if I am. But I think the way that this is written, it only affects some of the Dirty Tricks and not all of them, which actually sometimes reads as a nerf. But yeah, it's a bit of a strange change. Break a boss on Mire Brood being OC5 instead of OC2 is correct. So good change there. All right, Skaven caught a nerf. Change the timing of Grinder Fist Tunnelers to once per turn army any movement phase. So this nerfs the 18 Storm Fiends list where you dumped them all underground, and then in your opponent's movement phase, you dumped all 18 out after they did all their movement. And that's probably a valid change, honestly. I'm not like mad about that. Whatever. And then a slight buff to nozzle placements. They used to be more than 3 inches from all other terrain features, and now it's more than 1 inches from all other terrain features. So it makes it a little easier to place nozzles. I was still praying that they would make this. We set up the nozzle in our hero phase rather than at the start of the battle round, because start of the battle round just offers so much counterplay. Because if you didn't win like priority for top of the battle round, you drop your nozzle and then your opponent just gets to freely go and kill it. But sure, we take what we can get. All right, this is the biggest Slaves to Darkness nerf that they actually got. The Pledge to Slanesh, it's now not a 3d6 charge, it is a 3d6 dropping 1 charge. So they get consistent charges, but not like consistent 10-inch charges. I think the average you get on 3d6 dropping is an 8 rather than a 7. So still not the best. So basically what this is they're not as good as charging out of Deep Strike, which is good. Like that is a nerf that's good. And it makes them a little bit slower overall because they can't just move up and then make insane charges, or they can't be teleported with bridge and then make insane charges. So this is a warranted nerf, and I think probably the biggest nerf that Slaves to Darkness actually got. Yeah, it's pretty good. Ionis has the Ruination Chamber ability now, which is cool. That's actually good for him. Nice buff. Vanguard Chamber, once per turn army. That is what it should be. It took them this long to make it this way. It previously was just every Vanguard unit could always run, retreat, shoot, and charge. Now only one of them per turn can run, retreat, shoot, or charge. Unfortunately, they probably only need the one because they just need that one unit of Paladors to zoom up the board and then get in your face, or they just need that one time for the Raptors to retreat and then shoot. But we'll take what we can get. It's a sizable nerf, especially for people that were just spamming Vanguard units. So in terms of the most competitive Stormcast list, that's like Krondys, 12 Paladors, and 6 long strikes, and then a screen, probably doesn't nerf it that much. But in terms of, you know, maybe middle of the road, like average Stormcast lists, it probably nerfs them a bit more. And then with, you know, more Stormcast players like spamming Sequitors and stuff like that, which I'm predicting is going to happen, they're not Vanguard, so cool. And I think that's it. So yeah, pretty small battle scroll, all things considered. So yeah, let's I'll just do a little summary real quick. In my opinion, probably the biggest winners from the battle scroll were Seraphon, Stormcast, Skaven, and Ogres. I think probably Seraphon just because they didn't get nerfed. Ogres because regiment changes allowing Noblars really matters for them. Skaven because regiment changes are huge and then a few good points things. Stormcast because they got a lot of points changes and Sequitors are insane. Yeah. And Stormcast didn't get nerfed as badly as they could have. Seraphon didn't get nerfed as badly as they could have. I think Slaves got nerfed enough that I wouldn't call them a winner, but they're definitely not a loser. Biggest loser from the battle scrolls are Feck and Beasts of Chaos. Beasts of Chaos are a loser because they're going away in 2 months. Feck actually got nerfed in a couple like ways that matter. So Feck was probably the biggest loser of the battle scroll. And they were one of the top 3 like terrifying armies right now. So hey, 1 out of 3 ain't bad, GW. Maybe next time you'll get 2 out of 3. But yeah. This video was probably a little bit rambly, and you probably heard my poor wife coughing in the background a little bit. She's been under the weather. We've both been under the weather, so I apologize for that. But she's feeling better. It's okay. She's starting to feel better. So we're happy about that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Watch the video. I've got a couple other videos planned for this week. I'm gonna do a Skaven post battle scroll units tier list. And then I'm probably going to do a overall Age of Sigmar post Battlescroll 4th edition army tier list with all 25 armies in the game. So yeah, I got a couple videos planned. Hope you guys enjoy them. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.